Your grandparents waited in gas lines for hours in 1979. You paid $7 for eggs in 2022. They faced 13.5% inflation. You faced 9.1%. So why did your dollar feel more worthless? Here's the terrifying truth no one's telling you. Your rent didn't just go up 10%. Your entire financial future shifted. In the next 8 minutes, you'll discover why your paycheck disappeared faster than the 1970s. The one thing economists got completely wrong. What's coming next and how to prepare. Because understanding this could save you thousands. Inflation isn't an abstract number on CNN. It's your morning coffee jumping from $3 to $6, your rent lease renewal making you physically sick, your car insurance doubling for no reason. For anyone under 45, this was your first real inflation crisis, and something felt wrong. But here's what economists missed. There's a hidden pattern that links 1979 and 2022. It's not interest rates, it's not oil, it's something psychological that nobody fixed. And it's why this inflation might never fully go away. To understand this pattern, we need to go back to 1973. But numbers don't tell the real story. In 1974, a school teacher in Ohio earned $12,000 a year. By 1980, she earned $18,000. Sounds like a raise, right? Wrong. She could afford less than she did 6 years earlier. Her salary went up 50%. Prices went up 80%. This is what inflation does. It's a silent thief. And in 1979, the Federal Reserve decided to become a silent killer. August 1979, Paul Volcker walks into the Federal Reserve. He has one job: kill inflation. Everyone said he'd destroy America trying. Volcker's insanity. Fed chairman risks depression. Interest rates hit record high. Mortgage rates hit 18%. Families lost homes. Unemployment spiked to 10.8%. 110,000 businesses collapsed in 2 years. 1979, Fed rate 11% to economy shaky. 1981, Fed rate 20% to economy bleeding. 1982, recession hits to unemployment peaks. 1983, inflation under 4% to victory. But here's the crazy part nobody talks about. Volcker knew this would happen. He did it anyway. We have to show we're serious, he said. And serious meant suffering. But it worked. By 1983, inflation was broken. Confidence returned. The 1980s boom followed. Reagan got the credit. Volcker paid the price. To this day, economists debate whether it was genius or cruelty. Remember that psychological pattern I mentioned? This is where it connects to today. Because what Volcker really killed wasn't just inflation, it was the expectation of inflation. He reprogrammed how Americans thought about money, and that's exactly what we forgot in 2022. March 2020, the world shuts down. But here's what's different from 1973. 1970s, supply shock from oil. 2020s, supply shock from everything. Then, OPEC cuts oil. Now, China shuts factories, ships stuck at ports, truck drivers quit, warehouses empty, pandemic stimulus, $5 trillion, supply chain collapse, energy shock, Ukraine war, labor shortage, 4 million quit. There's the trap everyone missed. The Fed and Congress pumped money into an economy that couldn't produce. Imagine this, 10 people, 10 apples. Everyone gets 1 apple for $1. Now, same 10 people, only 5 apples, but everyone has $3. What happens? Bidding war. That's 2022 in 1 minute. Empire visualization. Look at the scale. 20+ cargo ships waiting outside LA port. Shipping costs up 500%. Rent up 20% in 1 year. Used cars up 40%. The Fed saw this coming. They just didn't believe it would last. Transitory, they said. It wasn't. So the Fed tried the Volcker playbook. Fed raises rates again. Fastest hikes in 40 years. Markets in turmoil. 2022, 11 rate hikes in 12 months. Meet Sarah, 28, saved $50,000 for a house. Mortgage rates doubled while she saved. Her dream home? Out of reach. 2023, Silicon Valley Bank collapses. $200 billion gone in 48 hours. 2024, housing affordability at 40-year low. The turn. Here's what separates today from 1979. 1979, U.S. debt, 30% of GDP. 2024, U.S. debt, 120% of GDP. When Volcker raised rates, the government could afford it. Today, every 1% rate hike costs $340 billion in interest per year. Raising rates now hits your mortgage, your credit card, your government, your retirement fund, all at once. This is the tightrope. Remember that hidden pattern? Subplot reveal: inflation psychology. In 1979, Americans expected inflation forever. So, businesses raised prices. Workers demanded higher wages. Prices rose more. A vicious cycle. Volcker broke it with pain. He made people fear rate hikes more than they feared inflation. 2022 started the same way. Prices will never come down. This is the new normal. Just accept paying more. But then something weird happened. Current status: February 2025. Inflation, 2.9%, down from 9.1%. Rates, 4.5%, still elevated. Unemployment, 3.7%, historically low. GDP growth, 2.3%, stable. The twist: the Fed did something Volcker never could. Volcker's way: inflation 13% to 3%, but recession plus 11% unemployment. Powell's way, so far: inflation 9% to 3%, and no recession plus 3.7% unemployment. This has never happened before. They call it a soft landing. But here's the real question: can they stick the landing, or is the recession just delayed? So what does this mean for your money? Lesson 1. Inflation is a mind game. The 1970s taught us, if people think prices will rise, they will. Your move: don't panic buy, don't hoard, stay rational. Lesson 2. Old solutions have new costs. Volcker could crash the economy. Powell can't. Your move: expect slower, gentler rate cuts. Plan accordingly. Lesson 3. Supply matters more than demand now. The 1970s was an oil problem. 2022 was an everything problem. Your move: diversify what you buy and where you buy it. Lesson 4. The Fed is walking a tightrope. One wrong move crashes stocks or reignites inflation. Your move: keep 6 months emergency fund. Volatility isn't over. Loop close. Is this worse than the 1970s? It's not worse, it's more fragile. The 1970s was a crisis with a brutal solution. Today is a crisis with no easy solution. But here's the good news: inflation is falling. The economy is holding. We might actually pull this off. The question is, for how long? If this changed how you see the economy, hit subscribe, because next week I'm breaking down what happens when the Fed finally cuts rates. Will stocks boom? Will inflation return? Or will something totally unexpected happen? You need to see this, because next week I'm breaking down what happens when the Fed finally cuts rates. Will stocks boom? Will inflation return? Or will something totally unexpected happen? You need to see this.